Buzkashi is the national sport of Afghanistan and widely considered the wildest sport in the world. Riding horseback, you must grab and carry a decapitated animal corpse into the goal area. Yes, you heard that correctly. These animals are usually goats or calves. The game originated from nomadic herding in the 10th to 15th centuries and is believed to have been used for horseback training. Other countries that have documented Buzkashi-like games are Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Let's talk about the wildest sport in the world. The word Buzkashi translates to goat pulling in Persian. There are two main iterations of the sport. There is traditional Buzkashi, which removes the teams and has a more chaotic free-for-all playstyle. There is also regulated Buzkashi, which includes formal teams, referees, and time limits. Even though some modern tournaments replace the animal carcass with a heavy leather sack, Buzkashi has remained fairly faithful to its original form. Official rules in Afghanistan state that each team consists of 10 players each, with up to 5 players on the field at any given time. A single match has 2 halves of 45 minutes each, with a brief halftime between them. Although Buzkashi gameplay is fast-paced and sometimes violent, there are rules and referees to enforce them. These prohibit grabbing another player's reins, striking another player's horse, etc. Basically, keep your hands to yourself and go put this animal carcass in the goal area. Buzkashi is the wildest sport in the world and it's the national sport of Afghanistan. It's been referred to as rugby with horses and also extreme polo. Surprisingly, the sport has spread to various other countries with their own tweaks and unique characteristics. It originated as a way for soldiers in training to entertain themselves while simultaneously getting more comfortable on horseback. Modern times have seen the animal carcass swapped for a leather sack for health concerns and also general animal welfare. Although the traditional goat carcass is still the widely used ball, so to speak. Thank you for watching. Emerging from Buenos Aires in the late 1800s, the tango dance has spread all over the world. In the early 1900s, as Argentinians traveled to Europe and America, they brought the tango with them. Tango is traditionally a passionate and complex dance, incorporating slow, precise movements with quick, cat-like agility. This dance often gives off a feeling of seduction or is used as an attempt to seduce a romantic interest. Beginning in Argentina amongst the lower class, it eventually made it to European high society. Let's talk about the dance it takes two to do. The first European city to embrace the tango was Paris. In 1913, the dance teachers that introduced tango were banished from the city as the dance was perceived as too sexualized for proper society. The close contact and passionate movements were considered inappropriate for higher society. Shortly after that, Paris accepted the dance and it quickly spread throughout Europe. In America, tango was popularized primarily in New York City. Americans developed their own style of tango, which had a quicker tempo set to quicker music. So let's talk about tango music. The music genre known as milonga influenced the music used for tango dances. Milonga originated near the Rio de la Plata area, just like the tango dance itself. Rio de la Plata is the natural border between Argentina and Uruguay. Tango is a world-famous dance that originated in Argentina, a dance that was created and used by immigrants and working-class Argentinians. It didn't take long for the dance to spread to both Europe and North America. Quick, agile steps combined with slow, passionate movements make the tango a difficult dance for most. It's still seen as seductive, and in some places, it's still considered too sensual for proper society. Side note, the saying, "it takes two to tango," means that both parties share blame about something and neither side can be held solely accountable. Thank you for watching. The Cannes Film Festival is an international film festival hosted in Cannes, France. It's widely considered the most prestigious film festival in the world and is invite only. It previews new films from all genres and any country. Earlier this year marked the 78th edition of the festival, making it one of the oldest in the world. With all that considered, it might surprise you that the Cannes Film Festival was founded out of a disagreement. Let's talk about the most prestigious film festival in the world. There's no better place to begin than the beginning. In the 1930s, the idea of the Cannes Film Festival came from the popular opinion that the Venice Film Festival had fascist bias. In 1938, it was proposed to create a festival free of political pressure, as the festival in Venice was believed to push fascist propaganda films. In the spring of 1939, the first inaugural festival was planned for September of 1939. However, if you're good with history, you know that Germany invades Poland on September 1st, 1939, starting World War II. This caused the festival to be postponed and then canceled shortly after. Those in charge of the festival believe the founding purpose underscored the brevity of the war to come. Let's fast forward 7 years to 1946. The first Cannes Film Festival took place from September 20th to October 5th, despite France still recovering from World War II. It was seen as a huge success, with over 21 countries submitting films. Prizes were awarded to almost every country in attendance and quickly became the place to be for the global film industry. In the upcoming years, the festival moved itself to May so they wouldn't conflict with the Venice Film Festival. As they grew in popularity and fame, they began to see massive Hollywood stars in attendance, including Marlon Brando and Audrey Hepburn. Beginning in 1946, the Cannes Film Festival has become the most prestigious film festival in the world. It remains invite-only and hosts celebrities from all over the world with films from their respective countries. Producers and distributors from all over the world come to the Cannes Film Festival every year to network, view new films, and strike production and distribution deals. The Cannes Film Festival celebrates artistic achievement, fosters international collaborations, and sets film industry trends worldwide. Thank you for watching. Monemvasia, Greece is a town on an island off the east coast of the Peloponnese. This unique area might remind you of Attack on Titan because the entire town is surrounded by walls. It's walled off from the east, south, and west with a gate in the western wall. The name Monemvasia literally translates to single entrance. The inland area on top of the plateau is largely uninhabited. In 2021, the municipality of Monemvasia had a population of 21,000 people. Let's talk about a Greek town surrounded by walls. Monemvasia is a medieval fortress connected to mainland Greece by a causeway. There are two main sections of the islet. There is the lower town, which is the walled city. Cobblestone walkways and fortified walls surround an archaeological museum. The museum is housed in a 16th century mosque. The other section is the upper town. You can walk up to it in around 20 minutes from lower town. There is a church from the 12th century with incredible architecture and breathtaking sea views. Within the lower town, there are taverns and artisan shops you can stop in and visit while you're there. You can also try a local sweet vine that has been available in that area since medieval times. There are restaurants that offer authentic Greek food. Some of these restaurants have wine bars and offer wine tastings as well. If you want to visit Monemvasia, the closest airport is in Athens. It's roughly a 4-hour car ride from there. You will have to park outside and enter the town by foot, as cars are not allowed inside. The best time to visit is in the spring or fall to enjoy pleasant weather. You may find yourself wandering out to the lighthouse, where you can swim in the cove just beneath the fortress walls. Thank you for watching. In southwest Jordan stands Petra, a stunning city where buildings, temples, and tombs are carved into the side of limestone cliffs. Not only is Petra mentioned in the Old Testament of the Bible, it's also considered one of the 7 new world wonders. It dates back to around 300 BC and is nicknamed the Rose City, as the sandstone cliffs have a pink hue to them. The most famous structure I'll write on the screen, as I'm sure I'll butcher the pronunciation. It's 45 meters tall and has Greek-inspired architecture. It's known as the Treasury. Let's talk about the inspiration behind Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Petra is the most visited tourist attraction in Jordan, with the number of visitors being around 1 million each year. So who built these structures? The area around Petra had been inhabited since around 7000 BC before the Nabateans settled there around 400 BC. they established Petra as the capital city for their Nabatean kingdom. The Nabateans fell to the Romans in 106 AD, who renamed it Arabia Petraea. Due to an earthquake that destroyed many structures and newly opened sea trade routes, Petra's population began to decline. In the Byzantine era, Christian churches were built, but it continued to decline until it was completely abandoned. Petra went unknown to the Western world until 1812, when Swiss explorer Johann Burckhardt rediscovered it. The royal tombs, along with the treasury, are constructed with Hellenistic architecture styles. This is inspired by Greek architecture, with whom the Nabateans would have likely traded with. The most apparent of these comparisons comes from the treasury, which shares many similarities to the architecture of Alexandria. Returning to the royal tombs, the palace tomb is speculated to be where the kings of Petra were laid to rest. The other tombs include the Corinthian tomb, the Silk tomb, and the Urn tomb. On December 6, 1985, Petra was designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. In 2007, Petra was named one of the 7 new world wonders. Petra has always been a place I wanted to go. When I saw Temple of Doom as a kid, I figured a place like that couldn't exist. But now that I've learned that it's an actual place, I have to go see it if I get the chance. Thank you for watching. The Simone Handbag Museum is a handbag museum shaped like an actual handbag in Seoul, South Korea. Originally opened in July of 2012, it's the world's first museum dedicated entirely to handbags. It was founded by the CEO of Simone Handbags, Kenny Park. He has since assembled a collection of over 300 handbags. It's estimated that the total worth of these handbags is around $1 million, and some date back to the 1500s. Let's talk about a big building shaped like a handbag. The Simone Handbag Museum is a 10-story building covered in glass and steel to give it a sleek appearance. From the outside, the building resembles a giant handbag, including 2 handles on the rooftop. This is often referred to as mimetic architecture, where a building is constructed to look like something else. The first 2 floors of the building serve as retail space. This is where you can find Simone's own personal boutiques. There is also a workshop where you can watch artisans make handbags in real time. The 3rd floor, 4th floor, and 5th floor are where the museum galleries are. The modern gallery has handbags from the 1900s to today. The historical gallery has handbags from before the 1900s, dating back as far as the 1500s. These galleries are often accompanied by mannequins dressed up like people from their respective eras. If you're interested in visiting the Simone Handbag Museum, it's around $5 to enter. It's located in South Korea's capital city, Seoul, and is typically opened in the late morning to evening. It's open every day except Mondays when they're closed. The museum is generally English-friendly and a must-see attraction for fashion aficionados. The building itself is a must-see for lovers of architecture, since the building resembles a 10-story tall handbag. Thank you for watching. On August 23, 1973, Jan Erik Olsson took 4 bank employees hostage at Kreditbanken in Stockholm, Sweden. When they were released 6 days later, none of them were willing to testify against Olsson in court. Some of the hostages even raised money for Olsson's defense attorney. This bank robbery became the origin of the phrase Stockholm Syndrome, to represent the psychology of hostages helping their captors even after they're granted their freedom. Let's talk about the most famous Swedish bank robbery of all time. In an effort to get into the psychology of the captors, let's go over a brief timeline of the bank robbery. We will start in the morning of August 23, 1973 in Stockholm, Sweden. Rather than butcher the pronunciation of the bank and the location, I will put it on the screen and spare myself the embarrassment. Olsson entered the bank, took out a submachine gun, and fired it into the ceiling. After wounding a police officer who responded to a silent alarm, he took 4 bank employees hostage. He demanded the release of Clark Olofsson, $700,000 in Swedish currency, and a getaway car. In just a few hours, the police delivered all 3 of these demands, but wouldn't let Olsson take the hostages with him to ensure safe passage. After just 1 day of being in a bank vault together, the captors and the hostages were on a first-name basis with each other. The police chief was allowed in to ensure the hostages were in good health and later stated that the hostages were combative and hostile to him while being friendly with their abductors. On August 28th, after more than 130 hours in total, Olsen and Olafsson surrendered after tear gas was pumped into the vault. Upon leaving the vault, the hostages and the abductors exchanged hugs and handshakes. As the gunmen were seized, one of the hostages cried out, "Don't hurt them, they never harmed us." Once incarcerated, the hostages visited the convicts in prison and even raised money for their legal defenses. Psychiatrists have compared the behavior exhibited by the hostages to soldiers who have been taken prisoner and later released. They feel emotionally indebted to their abductors because they were spared their lives. At this time, this behavior puzzled the police, the press, and the public. A bizarre phenomenon where hostages protect their abductors. Well, today that phenomenon is referred to as Stockholm Syndrome. Thank you for watching. Burj Al Babas is a town of abandoned castles in Turkey. I will get into when and why these buildings were made and also why they were left here to deteriorate later in this video. It now sits a sprawling graveyard of over 500 French-inspired chateaus with Gothic-style rooftop terraces. It's often referred to as a ghost town or Disney-inspired. Despite being an abandoned construction site, it's still a popular tourist attraction for people who want to see it for themselves. Let's talk about an abandoned Turkish town of miniature fairy tale castles. Let's establish a quick timeline first. The project began in 2014 and then ended in 2019. It was originally designed to be a lavish resort meant to bring wealthy residents to Turkey. Each villa was planned to have 3 stories, swimming pools, and saunas. There were 732 planned chateaus. However, the project remains unfinished after 583 were built. The center of the complex was planned to be a large domed structure. This structure was to house shopping centers, Turkish baths, a mosque, and even a movie theater. Multiple factors led to this abandonment, including the economic struggles of Turkey and the bankruptcy of the Sarit Group, the company behind the construction. People already living nearby didn't like the aesthetic of it either, although it's unclear whether they didn't like the architecture or the sheer amount of the same building in a small area. Burj Al Babas is located in the northeastern area of Turkey near the Black Sea. It sits right outside a town called Madernu. Tourism isn't allowed, yet many people go to a nearby road to see the abandoned town. Hundreds of 3-story chateaus with Gothic-style roofs would be a surreal sight, I'm sure. After researching Burj Al Babas, it's definitely a place I want to visit at some point. Thank you for watching. The 4th of July is by far the #1 beer drinking holiday in America. Alcohol sales alone reach $4 billion for just this single day. Most of that being for beer, of course, with wine being a distant second place. Don't worry, we are not all drinking on empty stomachs because over 150 million hot dogs are eaten on July 4th alone. Beer and hot dogs are important to any 4th of July celebration, but what about the fireworks? Last year, over $3 billion were spent on fireworks. It's estimated that this equates to around 273 million pounds. And pounds is in weight, not money. The most famous fireworks show is the Macy's 4th of July Fireworks Spectacular. Macy's spends around $6 million each year. 80,000 mortar shell fireworks are used and around 3 million people line up along the Hudson River to watch it. Something interesting I found was that 3 presidents died on the 4th of July: James Monroe, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson. The US population in 1776 is estimated at around 2.5 million people, but now it's over 340 million people. But of course, the most fascinating stat is the injuries. An average of 640 people go to the emergency room every year on the 4th of July with firework-related injuries. There are a few deaths, but it's mostly non-lethal injuries including the fingers and eyes. Way more people die in car crashes, almost 100-to-1 ratio every year. So stay safe, drink responsibly, and of course blow stuff up with fireworks. God bless America and thank you for watching.